My name is Cece, and you're listening to the Giddy Gigmeisters podcast.
This podcast may contain unsuitable content and absolute buffoonery. Listener's discretion is advised.
On today's episode...
Oh, okay, when we...
Give me some of that chapstick.
Sorry. Oh, here.
JCAT, give her a little.
For some.
No, give her a little.
That's what I'm doing, the chapstick.
No, from your face, JCAT. God.
That's weird. That's weird.
You just look like you put
That's
on
how
a
girls
lot,
transfer chapstick. Just so you know.
Why? That makes no sense.
Because everyone's a little gay, alright? That's why. And it's the only way that they can have an excuse to kiss another girl.
Yo, bro, I need some chapstick. Oh, sure, dude. I mean, hey,
Come here, I'll give you some. Mwah.
we're getting X-rated today. Whoa.
Let's giggity get started.
Haha, Tazar, it is the Giddy Gigmeisters podcast. You're listening in a high definition HD 4K, baby. And now, your hosts.
Hey!
Hi.
Howdy.
Welcome to the Giddy Gigmeister podcast, proudly providing languid life lessons, questionable quotables, and a plethora of performance tales, dutifully detailing turbulence and triumph and entertainment and everything. And speaking of everything, rated E for everyone. This podcast is not, because we are talking about some naughty things. We got some adult content up in here. Oh my goodness. So hide your kids, get your candles burning, run that bath water, because we are talking some naughty things today in this podcast. Viewers and listeners, beware.
But before we get into it, we have to do our 20-second fit check.
Ooh.
But today's version, we are going to be rating our outfit on a scale as if our outfit was in a movie. So are we dressed for a G movie, a PG movie, a PG-13 movie, an R movie, or a U for unrated?
Oh.
You are unrated.
Okay, I can go first. So I would say that from the waist up, I think I could safely be in a PG movie, because my shirt is like a little rock and roll shirt. So, I'm not, the concerts at this show were probably not kid appropriate, especially in the 80s. But my lower half, I would say, is probably PG-13, considering I'm not wearing any pants. However, my underwear cover more than my bathing suit, so that's why I'm giving it a PG-13.
Oh my God, she in the morning long johns. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Also, that was definitely more than 20 seconds.
Okay, all right, Julia, what is your rating of your fit?
I'm gonna give mine probably a PG, because I'm giving lady girls slumber party today. I have my black jumper that it's like a cozy just jumpsuit. She cinches in the middle, and I'm also wearing my cute little heart glasses that you may have seen on the Technicolor interview episode. And also I'm in my moment. I'm wearing a lot of hair bows lately, and that's been my thing.
Julia's the whole era.
Yes.
Wow.
Although, you're dressed PG, but some of those physical movements were giving PG-13. So.
You know what? I was just about to say that. That was a little provocative. Some suggestive, suggestive elements.
Oh man! All right, JCAT, it's your turn. What's your outfit rating today?
All right, so I just consulted my homie at the Motion Picture Association of America. he was like, yo, why are you dressed to go see Finding Nemo? I said, I'm trying to keep my G for general audiences outfit here. Don't look at me like that. Just because you can see a little bit of my tank top and some skin on my shoulders does not mean that this is PG, okay? Parental guidance is not needed for this outfit. Okay, I have on full clothes. I'm a little relaxed, so I can sit and watch Toy Story comfortably. You know what I mean?
Okay,
See?
first it was Nemo, now it's Toy Story. You can't even keep your Pixar story straight.
Well, look, they're both
So,
G. They're both G. They're both G.
It's
They're
all
both
I don't
G.
know. I don't know.
What?
I mean, you're kind of giving us a little too much neck, and it's making me uncomfortable. So like,
Clav?
I
Serving
definitely
clav?
think it's like
Clavicle?
PG.
I would never serve clavicle for free. Never. How dare you?
Oh my goodness. Well, that was our 20-second fit check today. My name is Cece, and you're listening to the Giddy Gigmeisters podcast.
Oh my goodness. Today we're talking about adult content. Like, adult content, are we even adults? I feel like everything is adult content these days.
Yeah, I mean, when adults are making children's films, I feel
Right.
like they can't help but put adult content in there because they're like, it's for us too. As the parents, we have to watch it as well. We want it to be entertaining for us. We don't want to sit there bored watching movies for our kids, So I feel like that's like, there's some purpose in there. It's intentional.
Yeah, I definitely feel that PG hit different when I was a kid. Like G movies back in my day had like fighting and explosions, and G movies today are like you see like a cloud, and they're like, hold on now, whoa, a cloud? That cloud is suggestively shaped.
Have y'all seen a Minions movie recently? I mean, the amount of butts in a Minions movie is asinine.
They have nudity. Also, nice pun. They have nudity in Minion movies.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what is the rating on a Minion movie?
Yeah, Julia.
Is it PG-13? Because I don't know. It's a lot of nudity for a kids movie.
PG.
Oh,
They're
does
like,
it not count because they're not humans? So it's like,
Ooh, that's true
It's
because
still anatomy, no?
because some movies change blood from red to green, so they don't, because if they do that, then the rating board is like, oh, because it's like an alien or not a non-human who's dying on screen, they don't actually like count. So maybe Cece's onto something. Cece might be onto something.
Still a lot of butts, though.
So
A lot of butts.
Keeping Julia coming back to the theaters.
No, absolutely not.
oh, is there booty?
You.
Okay. Oh my God.
Let's go into a little deep dive about ratings, because believe it or not, ratings are really, really young. They didn't really regulation for movies, video games, TV. That wasn't actually a thing up until like the 90s officially, which is so crazy to think about. Like it's we're not even as old as rating systems, but like TV was a wild west back in the day. Like whatever media content children were consuming was just kind of at the whim of whoever was making it, and parents weren't really paying attention. But of course, in the mid 80s, like Cece mentioned, we have the rise of rock music, heavy metal music, and this led to one of the biggest fads amongst like the Christian community and the government and television and board games, the Satanic Panic, everyone. Today, I know your boy Satan was up in the 80s trying to get our kids.
Whoa! Hide your kids, hide your wives.
Satan is up in here with the Motley Crue and AC/DC and Dungeons and Dragons trying to get your kids. Oh my
No!
goodness.
No.
So that's what my topic of today is: the satanic panic / how our rating systems were born. Do you guys know much about, like, when you think of satanic panic, what's like the first thing that comes to your mind?
It sounds like a band.
It probably was. It probably was.
It makes me think of the Red Scare, which is a completely different thing. But also, I want to correct you because you were saying that people are just watching whatever on television before the rating system. But for television specifically before the rating system, they had the Hays Code up until I think the 60s. So there were regulations on what people could watch on TV. For example, they couldn't show a married couple sharing a bed. They would have separate beds in the same room, but they would be a married couple. So it just was like, there were restrictions, but it just has changed a lot. And I think you're right. I think a lot of it did solidify in the kind of 80s, 90s. And I think you're going to tell us why.
Yeah, no, just to touch on that, the Hays Code was crazy. Like, I don't even, that's its own episode in itself. Because they were like, how dare you show kissing on television between a married heterosexual couple kissing on a national television?
Wait, I learned something about this and I have to add it in. I learned that in film they weren't allowed to kiss for more than 30 seconds. Like there was a time limit. Like you would get demonetized if you were kissing more than 30 seconds. Like
YouTube was back then. I'd be like, hey, your video, that kissing was 30 seconds. You get demonetized.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, that's wild. And you couldn't wear like certain things that showed certain parts of your body. Like you had to be completely covered, even in like a leotard or something, like full booty coverage, everything. Like it was very strict.
I mean, hey, I agree. The Hays Code, bring it back. Let's petition it back.
I don't think that's necessarily what Cece was saying.
No, but I mean, if you like see things now, it's pretty much like, it's like a little bit of a lower level to porn, almost like what you can watch on television now. Like they have like rated R, unrated, and I mean they do like sex scenes and things like that, but they only show penises for one. You can't show vaginas in film.
No.
That's recent, Cece. And listen, this is the beginning of equality. Okay, we've seen a lot of titties over time. And
a lot of titties.
They're trying to even the score, and I don't think we need vagina on screen. If we're being honest,
I agree.
Yeah, let's be for real. Equality for all, E for everyone. Come on, guys. Women have held the monopoly of full nudity in films. Let's bring it back. Come on, guys. Men.
It's because women are more sacred and like we are goddess status, so it's like you don't deserve to see it. That's private.
Okay. Yeah, right. Tell that to
which
every
is why
movie
we
in the 2000s.
only do it on Pornhub.
These are my God goggles. I have to.
We forewarned this was an adult content episode, so you know we're all adults here. You know, and
Mom,
if you're not an adult, you probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
Julia's mom, can you also think? I'm also scared.
I'm so scared. The God goggles aren't working, and I just need to go.
But no, you guys are
absolutely. Wants a ride.
Yeah, I also want a ride. Please come pick me up in where I am. But you guys are both absolutely correct. There were the Hays Code. People then also started realizing that the Hays Code was stupid, and so things kind of piddled out. But even back in the day, like even like 50s, 60s, advertisers controlled what TV content was on. So if say Coca-Cola was running an ad for like Leave It to Beaver, Coca-Cola could be like, hey, we don't like this episode because our brand Coca-Cola is sponsoring a commercial between Leave It to Beaver. So yeah, don't air that episode. please. And they would actually listen to the advertisers. So the advertisers had a huge hold on like what people could see, what was being shown to kids. But kind of rolling back to music. So in the 50s, 60s, we had the Beatles, we had Elvis. And then that generation kind of grew up with like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. We're kind of expressing ourselves. The 60s are coming in, the 70s are coming in. Here's drugs. Here's like new ways of thinking. The sexual revolution. The sexual revolution.
Here's drugs.
Here's drugs. Here's
Here's
drugs.
drugs.
Drugs and civil rights. Here we go. And so like this huge boom expressed itself into music. So now we have the shifting of the tides. We have rock music being formed, and now all these different genres. And it was this huge form of expression. So the generation that grew up with Elvis were now looking at their kids and they're watching MTV, which is new. You know, music videos 24 hours a day, and they're seeing and hearing these like more explicit songs like Queen talking about sex, or Prince talking about sex, or AC/DC talking about sex. All of these, you know, all these forms of expression, but parents were appalled. They're like, oh my gosh, this album about Prince that I just bought my children to listen to has songs about women getting nasty and Prince getting nasty and more people getting nasty. And my 3-year-old daughter is in her room listening to this album. Oh my gosh, I can't stand this. So the 99th congressional hearing, contents of music and the lyrics of records, happened in September 19th, 1985. And it was this huge televised thing where a lot of conserved, mostly Christian conservative mothers grouped together and were like, here's our 15. These are the most dirty songs of 1985. And we want some sort of control. We want regulation. So a lot of
like
people,
the modern day science mom, like the people that are like putting out that like they're like ads on TV that are like, the science moms, please don't do this, and the taxidermy and the smoking and the all the different like, this is a 1985 science moms. Music is like, bad.
Literally, like they're like, music is bad. It's leading our children to Satan, and it's obviously not our parenting techniques at all. It is totally the music's fault for all the sex, drugs, and violence. Yeah, it's of the devil. It's totally not that, you know, we sent our young people off to Vietnam and Korea and they came back with PTSD and now they're traumatized. It's totally not that. It's the music. They're bad. And so they go to Congress and they're like, you know what? You for true, AC/DC.
You for true.
They were like, you right. This is way too explicit for our kids. So ever like in the 90s, all of a sudden the parental advisory explicit content sticker went on basically every single stinking album you ever saw in your life. It's on there. It's everywhere, that explicit title. But the crazy thing is, like, we grew up with that sticker on everything. It didn't really affect us. But back then, everyone was trying to be family friendly. They were like, oh crap, we don't want these albums in our store if they have this label on it. So now all of the bands and everything, they're like, what? We mean we're gonna lose sales and we're being dragged in the media, and you know, we're losing our fan base because their parents don't want them to listen to us. So what do? They change the covers of their logos. They change and remove explicit things from their songs, and we have the birth of the non-explicit versions of albums. So that birthed why we have like why, you know, they release 2 separate albums nowadays is because one will have the sticker, one won't, and one can be easily seen and sold in public. And so that was like a brilliant thing to like adapt. But, you know, I never really thought about why there was 2 different versions of different songs. I was like, oh, you know, that's just, Technicolor Dreamboat has an explicit has
I would love to hear an explicit version of Technicolor Dreamboat. That's so wild because like I definitely remember hearing songs as a kid like on the radio, like where they change like saying that they want to F word you into they want to love you. And so it's like very different. So then like you go later on in life and you listen to these songs and you're like, wait a second, that's not the version I remember. And I'm like, what?
Right. Yeah, that really kicked off, and it was mostly heavy metal that kind of got the brunt, which is where the satanic part of it came in, because during the 80s there was a huge rise, and this will be in the content warning of the episode in the beginning. It was a huge rise of white male suicide in the 80s, and they attributed that to heavy metal. They were like, no, it's heavy metal's fault. It's clearly not that they're feeling emotional, they're feeling bottle capped. It's not that like white males are having issues expressing themselves because their parents didn't, because they grew up in like World War II and the era of the civil rights. Totally not that. It is absolutely the heavy metal that's talking about Satan or, offshoots of like other things or drugs or women. No. So that it was basically the perfect storm for no one. Like it really was to appease parents. That's what we're going to get into. All these ratings, all these content stuff isn't for the consumer, it's for the parents of the consumer. And usually, they're aimed towards kids or, whoever, but it's aimed for parents. It's meant for people to be like, oh my goodness, I can judge a book by its cover and not actually listen to the album. I can just see this rating and be like, no, my kids don't need to listen to this, instead of actually doing it for themselves and, actually doing parenting things.
I love that we also see a lot of rebellion with when it comes to ratings and ages, because to go to a PG-13 movie before you were 13, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know, Child's Play, Chucky, whatever, it's like just like something that's not gonna like be the end. But it's just funny because it also not only became something that was to help regulate the children, but it also gave children a way to rebel against parents or government or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It's just kind of funny because it provided both, I guess.
Yeah, but sorry.
No, please.
I was gonna say I remember, because to go see a PG-13 you had to be accompanied by an adult in order to see the movie if you were not of age or had proof to show what your age was to be able to get into the movie. So I thought that was really interesting. I definitely, once I turned like 16 and to 18 range, I had a younger sister who's like 11 years younger than I am, and so I would definitely I'll take her to the movies with me because I could get away with taking her to the movies because I was an adult now, and so she could go see the movies. So I just think that's so funny now. Like
I had an adult sneak me into Rocky Horror Picture Show when I was 14 because they were doing the live performance in front of the screen. It was like one of those like,
yes, I love those.
I had some random lady that was also buying a ticket, offered to because they were like, do you have a parent with you? Because I went with a senior in high school, so they weren't quite an adult either. And we were like, this is our mom, and she was like, yes. Yes,
oh my gosh.
I am with them. I am an adult with them. And it was really cool, but it was a lot of fun. Well, should I have done it? No, probably. I don't know. I'm fine. I came out fine.
Julia is perfectly A-okay 100%. Totally didn't ruin her trajectory of life after that. One of my favorite, talking about the rebellion thing, they jacked up because as Congress and the government started stepping in, and there's like these associations now who are like rating review boards for music, all of a sudden you hit the 90s, you get rap music, and that rebellion and that shift from hard heavy metal to like this like rebellion pop, like funk pop, all this like it all merged into the creation of huge pushes for rap music, which then totally obliterate, like every rap album had an explicit sticker on it, so it kind of but it kind of became the thing where like, oh dude, did you get that album? Yeah, I did. So like now it backfired on them because it was like, oh, the more hardcore your album was, the more, you know, attention it got, the more prominent the label would be. So it worked in artists' favor when it could have been the downfall of a lot of things. But luckily rap music came in and helped out. But around this same time, I'm sure you guys have heard of the video game Mortal Kombat.
Yes! Love Mortal Kombat! Let's go pull up the PlayStation.
Finish him!
Well, it was Mortal Kombat and a lesser known but still very popular video game called Night Trap, which gave us video game ratings. Those, like, legit, those two were used as the main examples to be like, hey, there's a dude in a yellow monk outfit ripping out the spine of another person, sometimes women, and there's blood, and also, you know, no.
What, you don't want your kids playing that? I'm sorry.
I mean, I do.
It's
do.
like anatomy, right?
Self-defense, JCAT. Come on, you have to teach them young.
Yeah.
But if you don't learn the square, square, triangle, circle combo, they might not make it.
If my kid comes home from school and he has a black eye, I'm like, well, did you at least do a finisher combo on them?
Did you finish him? Yes or no?
Did you rip them in half?
I don't know, Julia. Don't know. That
R-rated.
could be taken the wrong way.
Oh my gosh.
I want a bumper sticker of that.
Did you finish him? Yes
Did
or
you
no?
finish him?
It's a rhetorical question.
Oh, so the biggest thing was that video game consoles were no longer in arcades. They were now in the homes of these conservative families in suburbia. They were more accessible, easier to get. And at the time, video games were less regulated because, you know, it was seen as kind of like an art form that was only for kids. They're like, oh, you know, we don't need to deal with it. Those kids, we'll let them play. Until mom comes home with dinner and all of a sudden she sees little Johnny and his friends seeing Scorpion and Raiden shooting lightning through people's eyes and ripping each other's heads off. And they're like, oh, I bought that? So
I thought it would be like Street Fighter.
But even then, like fighting games, they thought it promoted more violence. And then, of course, we have the advent of like pro wrestling. So at this time, WWE and WCW were having their thing. So there was more violence on television that was easier to accept. Cable was more popular. There are bigger TVs now. So all these things were kind of leading up and boiling. So a bunch of parents had another kind of congressional, we need this regulated. And video game companies were like, the government's not, but we will. So they created the Entertainment Software Rating Board, where basically they're like, okay, in 1994, we're going to have early childhood games, E for everyone, teen, M, AYO, which is adults only, and RP, which is ratings pending.
AYO!
AYO, I know! AYO, adult only, AYO.
I love that. I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
either.
So apparently only like 20, like only less than 25 games have ever gotten an AYO rating from the
straight
board.
Up porn. It's gotta be porn.
It is. It literally is. Okay, let me just clarify. I personally have never played an AYO game. I did not do my
research. I think you did your research, Jacob.
I did. I finished
all
the research.
25 games, just to be thorough.
Just to make for the podcast, for the pod. Duh. But it's a lot of people have issues with the rating boards for video games because they don't actually play the game. They just kind of get a like questionnaire filled out from the game developers and like some screenshots and video of the game. So like, you know, Julia, you could have a game that's based off of your life, and you could like have the questionnaire be like, oh yeah, this and this, and I hug puppies, and then you send in the game footage, and it's you punching like, you know, an entire building down with your fist, and then Cece comes out with like wearing no pants, and she's like, Julia, you did great. And the board would be like, well, that's mature. That's 17 plus.
Hear me out. What if you do the opposite? You do the opposite. You try to mark your game as AYO, and then but when they get the game, they're like, oh my god, like this must be so explicit. Oh my goodness, it's the 26th game ever. And they open it up and it's just like you get to be a unicorn. Like it's for the bronies.
It's for the bronies.
Charlie, let's go to Candy Mountain.
Yeah, there you go. All the horse memes ever. Hey yo!
Hey yo!
This is pretty good.
I feel like we need to be on the ratings board. I feel like video games nowadays need our explicit judgment to make sure that they're safe for kids.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So video games got you know, locked down in around 1994. So about 10 years after the Satanic Panic run. And then TV, of course, kind of got its parental guidelines. So the T in the corner where it says TV PG, you know, TV, you know, 14, those things like that. So TV shows, TV movies, all of those would get those kinds of ratings. And that started with a very intriguing kind of progression of events. So we had the Hays Code, kind of like how Julia mentioned, but we also had this urge for there needing to be an availability for families to watch primetime television. So around like 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. was primetime considered. They were like, we need to make that clean and family friendly. And everybody hated that idea. So they got rid of it. But this dude made a chip called the V chip, which literally could detect violence in a show.
Ooh.
Like they would plug it into TVs, and it could detect violence in the show and block it, like literally physically censor it.
What?
Wow.
And I was like, no way that's real, but it is. And actually, I remember when I was a kid, there was there's a Christian bookstore. I don't know if it's still in existence, but there was a Christian bookstore, and one of the aisles, it had a TV with like this DVD player looking thing on top of it. And it was, I don't remember what it's called, and I might have to look it up, but it literally would, if you turned it on, it would literally censor whatever settings you wanted. So if it was like sex in a movie or like gun violence or drug, the little thing would actually censor and detect in the TV when it would happen, and then immediately like block it. Yeah, and it would just
That's insane. What year was this? What year did it come out?
The V chip came out around the time Al Gore was it, so around like 2000s, the early 2000s. Yeah. Okay. No, I only bring that up because the
reference to the V chip is Al Gore.
So it's all connected. Well, no, it's actually important because Al Gore was the one who showed it to the president at the time.
What?
And he's like,
okay.
He's like, I love this so much that we're gonna make the Telecommunication Act of 1996 based off of this thing. And so that led to like a bunch of the TV ratings, the TV PG, that all came about because of this new turn of like regulating and censoring TV content. But that is kind of like the basic overrun. I'm not an expert, but that is kind of my segment on the Satanic Panic and how we got ratings for a lot of the things that we see today. Any questions, comments, concerns? I didn't really go super into the
for spark noting history for us to
yes.
Yeah, I just wrote someone's paper just now. I didn't really go into.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I didn't super get into like the Satan part of the Satanic Panic. But one really funny thing, and I really think you guys should look into this. There was a huge fade in secret satanic messages hidden in music. So if like you played a record backwards, people would be like, "Oh yeah, it says Hail Satan, we love Satan. Go to Arby's." It would be like that. It's on the backwards tape. So
Hail Satan,
Yeah,
Arby's.
Wait, I've
Hail
heard
Satan.
of this before. I have
It's
heard
called
of this.
I think it's called backtracking or something like that. I forgot what it is. But in response to these accusations, bands actually started doing it on purpose. So like some records, if you can get them, if you played them backwards, they would actually have hidden messages to like the people in those meetings. They'd make fun of them. Or Prince's album Purple Rain, actually one of his more vulgar considered songs, actually has like a really positive message if you turn it backwards. So it's really intriguing how this cat and mouse game happened, but the occult played a huge part in it. So thanks, occult, for giving us
No,
ratings.
no. We don't thank the occult. We don't thank the occult. I don't believe so, sir. You know what this makes me think of, though? That Josie and the Pussycats movie, when they literally have the machine at the end, they're like, it's all like, so-and-so actually has real hair or whatever. Like, and it's like just subliminal messaging, like the whole...
Yes.
Under their music. You know what's funny? I watched that movie as a kid not knowing that was something that was actually happening. So it's kind of crazy. But I did like suspect the world of having that because of that movie. So it's just funny how it can call attention to, but also make fun of the stuff that is being slipped in and why it's important for us to have ratings. Like, you got to know what you're ingesting.
Yes,
Wait a minute. Did you say that you watched the Josie and the Pussycat movie? I thought, wasn't that PG-13 back in the day?
Oh my God.
Were you watching PG-13?
Oh no.
I'm telling the entertainment software rating board right now. Sorry, Cece, what were you about to say?
No, you're good. I was just thinking about the whole with the satanic panic thing in the records, like being played backwards, have messages. Like I feel like that's shown a lot in horror films today. Like I've seen a lot recently. What is it? One of the Exorcist movies or something, or one of the possession movies.
The one of 17 that come out every year.
Right. Yeah, literally. But yeah, I literally remember watching that, and it was like there was like an earthquake, and they found this underground place, and there was like
Evil Dead Rise
in there.
Evil Dead
Rise. Yes. Like that's exactly what this made me think of, and I'm like, okay, we're still seeing that today.
Now I have a quick, because we're entertainers and we are actors and performers. Do you think that there should be a rating system for plays and musicals? Because if you've ever noticed on like the books of plays or like a playbill, there really isn't a rating. There really isn't there's no sort of like thing unless it's like a cast album that has the explicit sticker. But we're just gonna name drop a play. Slave Play. I have never seen it. However, I have heard so much about Slave Play, and I'm honestly generally surprised that like not even the playbill has like a sticker on the front being like, "AYO, this about to go crazy."
Sorry.
But like, SpongeBob the musical kind of has some suggestive things too, and it really depends on like, different directors may do different things with different takes. So or like a Shakespeare play may be a little bit more sensual than it is, historical. So like, what do you guys think about that? As performers, we kind of get a heads up from casting directors and stuff being like, hey, there's going to be nudity in this, there's going to be this stuff. But do you think the audience should get there should be a rating board for plays and musicals?
I think maybe a little bit, because you mentioning this automatically made me think of Book of Mormon. And
giggity.
Oh no!
How can we bleep that, please?
I have to giggity that whole section.
Like that 100% is what it made me think about, because I remember listening to the Book of Mormon album for the first time and I was like, yeah, this is cool, this is fun, and then it got to that song and I was like, oh,
Mhm.
but
And it's so catchy. It's
It
so
is
catchy.
so
Like you want to
catchy.
sing a part, and then you're
Literally.
like, okay, wait. I can't sing F you God in another language. I
Mhm.
can't.
Mhm.
But it's so catchy.
Yes, or they have the suggestive stuff too, about baptizing. I'm gonna baptize you, baptize me.
Or the hopping onto that, like a lot of people would go to Hamilton, it would take their like school trips and like stuff, and then of course it's going great, and then all of a sudden say no to this happens, and then the teacher's like,
Yes. They definitely need to like give a little warning.
Yeah, theater, I feel like they do a little bit, but it's not like they don't give it a rating. You know what I mean? So they'll put a printed Word document on the door that says this has strobe effects and
right.
some fight sequences, or I don't know, like whatever. But they don't tell you the extent of it. So there even nudity, like it might be brief, it might be a whole smorgasbord on stage. I don't know. But there's not really a good ranking system for theater. And even books, I have to jump on that because I don't remember what year it was. I want to say it was a sophomore or junior in high school, and I had to just like go out, pick a book, and do a book report on it. Well, I picked a book thinking it sounded really like it had a promising premise, and I get into the book and it has smut in it, and I'm like, I cannot on this. But I'm already locked in with my teacher. My teacher knows the name of the book that I'm reading. And I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to report on everything except for the smut. So I got away with it. She never read the book that I picked. But it was just funny because I didn't know. And there was nothing on the book to be like, hey, it's smut. Like, I guess I should have known. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you read Twilight, you should always know.
Whoa. I got my gun loaded on JCAT because I will not let anyone come for Twilight like that.
I love Twilight. Don't get it twisted, Julia. Don't get it satanic panicked up in here, Julia.
Yes, don't let your children read Coraline because it even terrifies Julia.
No,
so
I hate that book. I hate that movie. I will never watch it.
I love the movie. I love the movie. I think I could be a great The Other Mother.
Censoring books, like that's been a discussion for like probably long before we had like record albums and TV, like censoring books, all these kinds of things, like the Bible. I remember I downloaded the Bible on like my old iPod Touch. And it was like, AYO, are you above 17 and older? Because this is the Bible. And I didn't even think about it in my brain, but I was like, oh, yeah, there is murder, war, death, sex, all those things mentioned in the Bible. I was like, I didn't even think about that. I have to be 18 plus to download the Bible, which didn't even like.
AYO, the Bible goes hard, guys. AYO, the Bible.
Hey,
I remember having a children's version of the Bible. Like I remember having one.
Yeah, imagine VeggieTales going AYO.
Oh my God! Wait, I would totally watch an AYO version of VeggieTales. I would.
AYO, they don't even got no arms. AYO, why?
Come on, I want an AYO version of Larry's Silly Songs. Let's go.
It's just a parody of Pony.
AYO songs with Larry.
Oh my God.
Just to wrap everything up in this segment, just do your own, make sure to do your own research. If you have, there's tons of great websites and things to search up books, ratings, content ratings. I think IMDb has like a parent's guide. So just if you want to watch something, or if you're unsure of it, just do your own research. Do your own research, and don't be afraid to express yourself. But yeah, that is my segment.
May I jump on and just say maybe we should give books a rating system before we just start censoring books, because that is the scariest part of every apocalyptic book or dystopian that they start censoring any kind of media. So if we put ratings on things, maybe we wouldn't have to worry so hard, or you could just be a better parent by checking the rating on the books. I don't know.
Won't be me.
I don't make the rules.
They'll be like, Dad, can I watch Schindler's List? I'll be like, yep. 3-year-old me can do that.
Boy. Hey yo.
Up next, we're doing bit of the week.
So this week, I think I actually have done it a couple times on this podcast, but anytime something's been going wrong, I've just kind of been, I guess that was kind of my last one too, but it's been something's like wackadoo, something's crazy, it's inexplicable. There's been a lot of that in life lately, and I just like to shout, it's of the devil! It's of the devil!
Amen. Amen.
Why do you have to blame where it's at, okay? Because people love to blame everything around them, but you know what? It's of the devil! It's of the devil! So, and that's the thing.
It's of the devil. Dang it, Cece.
I'm sorry.
Dang it, Cece.
I'm sorry.
It's of the devil.
I forgot the assignment.
It's of the devil that Cece forgot the assignment.
Yeah.
Robbed you.
We'll blame it on that.
How poignant of you to mention that during our episode. Any bits this week?
Yeah.
Cece, what you got?
I have one. I said it earlier, but like I can't stop saying it. So I don't know how many of you remember this interview. But it was like a news interview of somebody, and they like made remixes of it and everything. And it lives rent free in my head, and it just randomly pops up sometimes. So it's the hide your kids, hide your wives. And I just can't get it out of my head. Like I've gone back and just watched this interview just to like remember how it happened, because I think all I remember seeing it was like when they started making remixes of
that should have been your monologue, Cece. That should have been your monologue for the showcase.
That should have been your monologue. Oh my god.
Your monologue. Hide your kids, hide your wife, because they couldn't have everybody out here.
That's actually one of the first YouTube videos I ever saw, was a remix of, it was the remix song, and it was then the Annoying Orange parody of that. Yeah. That was one of the first. God. That was my first exposure to YouTube, were those two videos. That and the Double Rainbow Dude.
It's definitely a different generation now.
Yes.
Yeah, kids at school, they don't no longer because that's my entertainment, was when kids at my school, elementary school, would be like, hey, I'm going to describe this Happy Tree Friends episode to you because you don't know what I'm talking about. And then I would just sit there and listen to them, and then we'd be like, cool, you want to go pick our noses and run outside? Yeah. Like, kids aren't built that way anymore. Like, we would be doing cheese touch and then talking about how like how like a squirrel's eye fell out in a cartoon episode, and then Johnny Test fart jokes. And
literally
rinse and repeat. Sorry, I'm sorry, Cece, but I'm ruining your bit.
No, you're good. I think that definitely comes back to that. I agree that, I mean, YouTube has like that rating now where it's like, is it kid friendly or is it not kid friendly? Like when you like post the videos now. So like, I know they have it, but I don't know if
they missed us.
Censored. Yeah, they did.
They missed us with it.
Yeah, it came a little too late.
Oh my god!
All right, JCAT, did you have a bit?
Yeah. So it's more so like a recoil. Because this conversation has haunted my brain. So I'm reading this book, and it's utter garbage, but it's also has a grip hold on my life. And there's two characters who are having a conversation, and one character says, "I'm not a math problem," and then the other character says, "True, but I'm still gonna solve you." I put the book down and I walked away and I said, I
Is
I
that
was in.
JCAT porn? Is that like the words just got you? You're
It did
blushing,
it
I
for
can tell.
it did it for me. I was like, where like if someone said that to me, I would be AYOing.
Hey, yo!
I'd be like, "Hey, yo, adults only
Oh
conversation."
my god.
This is
Literally,
AYO,
say like you're a riddle and I'm gonna solve you, and you're like,
right? I just want someone to talk intellectual to me. That's all.
you're a Ravenclaw, I can tell.
Wrong. Actually, I'm a Slytherin. Apparently,
You're a
according.
Ravenclaw in the sheets and a Slytherin in the streets.
Is there? Wait, hold on. Is there like who are you, like what type of Harry Potter house you are in the
Oh
it's
my god.
catchy, okay? JCAT, you're a Slytherin in the streets and a Ravenclaw in the sheets.
I just want to be.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that's my bit. Take it or leave it.
The next segment is Uncomfy with Julia. That's right. I am the master of making people uncomfortable. So we just thought we'd continue that theme because of, I think, some of my previous episode segments. But what this one pertains to is kind of just like things in the past that maybe maybe that I watched with family that we didn't expect it to be, maybe of a higher rating or what the rating was for. So one of our favorite family memories is that for a family movie night, we were going to just pick a movie and we're just going to watch it together, pretty standard. And the movie we decided to pick was Wolf of Wall Street. And anyone who has seen Wolf of Wall Street knows it is not a family movie. But my mom kept saying, we're going to watch a family movie. We're going to watch a family movie. So this movie comes on and there's a sex scene and we're like, oh no, or whatever. Just like, she told my brother, I told everyone, close your eyes, boys. They're teenagers at this point. So yeah. And then we're like, okay, we got through the first one. It's fine. It's great. Whatever. The story moves on. He's starting to get successful or whatever's happening. And there's another sex scene. She's like, oh my gosh, another one? Wow. Like crazy. She's like, surely this will be it. Surely it won't get worse.
My brain is telling me that your mother literally said this aloud. She's like the dog.
She's like, no, I'm sure. I'm sure that's it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Your mom is the meme of the dog sitting in the fire. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Your mom is the dog sitting in the fire. I think it's fine. It's fine.
This is fine.
Truly. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so she's like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Like, we got past the second one, and then I don't think we even made it to Margot Robbie, but there was an orgy scene, and that's when she's like, that's it, and she turned it off. So now whenever we think about, we never even got to finish the movie. None of us, I think, have gone back and watched the ending, which is dumb, because we're all adults now and it's whatever. But it's just funny because we torment my mom with the, Wolf of Wall Street, it's a family movie. It's a family movie. It certainly is not, for anyone wondering. But so it's just funny because sitting next to your parents when there's like sex scenes on,
right.
it's crazy. And there's another story. I have one more because we're uncomfy. My mom and I were going to take my grandma to go see, I think it was like the Jersey Boys movie or whatever that came out years ago.
I love that movie.
But we didn't get tickets in advance. So when we got there, it's all like booked out by all the other old people that wanted to go see it that day. And so my mom's like, well, what else is there? And there was like, everything else was pretty sold out or like not good showings or whatever. So another movie that we ended up going to that was out at the time was called Sex Tape with Cameron Diaz and Jason Segel. And it is literally about this this couple who has a family and they just want to spice things up. And Jason Segel is like weird looking alien skinny for some reason in that movie. And so we took my grandma to go see Sex Tape, and it was a generational ladies bonding experience to be watching that movie alongside my mother and my grandmother. It's a funny movie, but yeah, it's uncomfy. You're sitting there and you're like, well, we're in the movie theater. You can't fast forward now, Mom.
Right.
No, that's the last movie that, you know, like, oh yeah, instead of Jersey Boys, what's the next best alternative? It's
Sex Tape. Come on, Cameron Diaz is in it. It'll be good.
literally. She's like, it can't be that bad, right?
Right.
No, there have definitely been so many uncomfortable, like, I could definitely, like, I just feel the uncomfortableness that you're expressing. I just like, I can feel it, because I've been in situations. We were in the movie theater watching a movie called Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, which has like Martin Lawrence in it, and it was kind of like he hadn't been in a movie in a while, but like it was me and my parents and a couple members of our church who went to go see it because they love comedy movies, and my mom was really excited to see it. And I just remember having to, like, my mom had the policy of if there was ever kissing or anything suggestive on scene, I had to turn my head and look away from the screen. And we're in a movie theater.
Even kissing?
Yeah, even kissing. So like we're in this massive movie theater screen, and like I'm huddled in for most of the movie. I'm huddled in the fetal position, hiding my face, and I'm constantly going, can I look now? Can I look now? Like I constantly.
Can I look now?
Like I saw maybe like 1/5 of that movie.
Oh.
But like when you're doing this, you can hear everything. So it's just like this
Right.
awkward. It's like, okay, this is so cool.
Oh.
So yeah, very uncomfortable feelings.
Yes, no, I totally have experienced very similar things. Usually it's at home, and they're like the whole cover your eyes thing, or close your eyes, don't look, like, okay, you can open them now, you know, but like still, like what JCAT said, it's like you can still hear it. You might not know what's happening, you know, but like you kind of make it up in your brain, like as it's going on. Like I remember a movie that I watched. I don't know if you guys have seen Sucker Punch.
Oh yeah.
Sucker Punch.
They like break out of the mental institution, right? But they're like badass chicks.
Yes. Vanessa Hudgens is in it.
Vanessa Hudgens? Okay,
yeah.
I might have to look this up.
But there's a theatrical version and an uncut version. So at the movie theater, we saw the theatrical version. We liked it so much, my dad ended up buying the film. So then we got it home. We were like, oh, let's watch the uncut version, you know? That was a mistake.
Oh, speaking of watching things with dad, I have one more story. My dad like really tries to make an effort to like, we don't have a lot of similar interests. So he'll take me to the movies or whatever. And a long time ago in high school, he just realized he hadn't done anything in a while. So he's like, let's go. What you like those Twilight books, right? And I'm like, yeah, like there's another movie coming out or whatever. And he's like, let's go see the Twilight movie. It happened to be Breaking Dawn Part 1, which is when they get married. And they consummate their marriage repeatedly and get pregnant also immediately. And that was the one that he decided to take me to. And I was unashamedly watching because that was my book series, damn it. I was going to watch every second. I don't know how he felt. We didn't really talk about it afterwards.
Thank you for making us uncomfortable, Julie.
Sorry. Julia, you have made me very uncomfortable.
It's absolutely my pleasure to make you uncomfortable.
This podcast may contain adult contact. Listener, that was not right.
Adult contact?
Back to one. No contact this time. Back to one.
would you guys be in like say a production of Spring Awakening or something where you have to be partially nude or have a sex scene or be a part of a production that has more adult content than maybe you thought your career was going to go into? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I want to be in Bridgerton.
Anything for Bridgerton. Titties out for the pawn.
Titties out!
Thank you, Nicholas.
And
I want to consummate my marriage all over.
The library and the carriage. In the servants'
Great.
quarters.
Great.
On the croquet lawn.
Awesome.
Horseback.
You're killing it.
Ooh, I mean,
Well-
in Rent, we do an orgy.
Oh
What?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Do you not
It depends on
remember?
the direction of it, but it's I think
I
is it
wasn't
like-
there.
Wait, I thought you've seen it.
No, I've seen Rent. It's just like that's not something that immediately, when you think Rent, you don't immediately go like, oh yeah, that part.
Hey yo. But I think we all have our limits, when it comes to
Mhm.
nudity or just and I think that as long as you communicate that with all the people you're working with,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, comfortability.
Let it ... trail off.
My name's Cece, and you're listening to the Giddy Gigmeisters podcast. Let's move into our next segment, which is Hindsight 2020.
Whoa.
Everybody get your
and
glasses. Oh, I don't have any.
I still can't see.
I'll put my God goggles on.
Oh,
Is that what they're called?
yeah, I
God
think
goggles?
so. Yeah, God
goggles.
goggles.
Yeah, okay, I got my God goggles. Okay, so in this segment for Hindsight 2020, we are going to be talking about adult jokes and innuendos in kids' films.
Oh,
Yep. We all seen them. We've all heard them. And at one point in our lives, we didn't understand them. But now that we're adults, we do. So let's talk about it.
I like how you're assuming we are adults.
Well, I know JCAT's not because he said he wasn't. But, we're just
Maturity.
technically, legally, you're an adult. So,
the legal play.
yeah. So, okay, well, I can kick it off. So, most people already know what film I'm gonna pick for this, but I have picked Shrek.
yes.
Okay, so
Hey yo.
let's get into some AYO moments of Shrek. Okay, I'm gonna start off with my dad's favorite one. I have not been able to find a clip of this, so I feel like I need to watch Shrek again to see if they still kept it in there, if they edit it out, because the originals are not necessarily the same now for the parental guidance, the content that they needed to take out of it. I know Disney's done a lot of that. So but there's this scene where Donkey's talking about I'm not ready to get physical with you, dragon. I don't remember registering that as a kid. I didn't at all. But Donkey full on is talking about how Dragon is trying to get physical with him, and he's like, I'm not ready for that. And then he I believe they don't show it, but her head starts moving down towards Donkey, and then he was like, hey girl, you're gonna rip off my taint. He literally my dad swears up and down that that's what it says in the film. For real. I need to watch it again.
I may have to defend one of my favorite movies because I believe he says tail. I believe he said tail only because of in my because I'm remembering the scene only because it looks like her head goes to his tail.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming she was like, it was like the tail of pull on his tail or something like that. But like now that you've said this, Cece, I don't think I can get that out of my head.
my dad has never let me be able to forget that, but like that's like one of many, you know. Another one, obviously, I think this is all of our favorites, the Duloc song.
Yeah.
Yes. I pulled up the lyrics.
Like your face.
Yes.
Like
Literally.
You like it.
And I always just thought it was a catchy song, and I just never. I always thought the pause was just really funny, and they would like turn around and show their butts, and I was like, "Oh, haha, funny."
Oh no! I mean, I feel like I knew that one first time I saw it. I feel like I knew that one. You know, I dirty mind. I guess I had a dirty mind at a young age.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness!
Shrek is chock full of them. It truly is a movie that's not only just for the kids; it's for the adults. The adults enjoy it just as much as the kids do.
Oh yes, I think I enjoy it more now as an adult.
Yeah, I think there was stuff even as a kid that we caught. Like, I don't know. Do you feel like you caught some of the stuff while you were young, or do you feel like it took getting older to like look back and see it? Hindsight 2020.
I think the two that I knew right away was the castle compensation one. Oh, I think he's compensating for something, and the Duloc song one.
Yeah,
Wipe your face. Like those are the two that definitely stuck out to me. One that I did some research because I wanted to see if there was ones that I didn't catch.
Ooh.
And there was one that I found, and it's Lord Farquaad's name. You know this one?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't know that, you know, if you take the R out of Farquaad, it's
wow. Which is messed up, but like they got away with it. They got away with it.
Clever. Or the Snow White one, but she's not easy.
Yeah. She lives with 7 men, but she ain't easy. There's another, I think, Farquaad where he's like looking into the mirror and he's like, "Show me this girl again," or whatever. And then he like peeks under the blanket or something. You're like,
he like peeks in and he's like, "Oh."
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I guess this is just gonna be a Shrek segment because I'm hopping on to Shrek 2.
No.
What?
Keep going.
No, I love Shrek 2.
No, Shrek 2 is so good. Everybody loves Shrek 2.
I would religiously watch that over and over and over again. I wouldn't necessarily say it was the dirtier suggestions because there's just so many in it, but like the concept of drag queens and the Bob Barker treatment that Donkey mentions about Puss in Boots. Those two always went over my head because I didn't know Larry King was voicing the Cinderella's ugly stepsister, one of the ugly stepsisters. I didn't know, but like I didn't know that was basically like a man in drag, and then the wolf was also like a wolf in drag. Yes, so there was a lot of like people in drag in Shrek that I didn't really realize, and because I just was like, oh, that's just a very ugly stepsister in my brain. And then the female frog, which in the bar, do you remember that? Where she's like, "Do I know you?" And she has like the lipstick and everything. But because the king goes to hire Puss in Boots to go kill Shrek and Donkey, but he's at the bar talking to the ugly stepsister, and there's the female frog. She's like, "Do I know you?" She's drinking like this martini, but like. If I had caught on as a kid, I might have gotten like, because that kind of spoils the twist of who the king is at the end, which is like I watch it back now. It's like, oh, it's just so brilliant that little line is what it means. But when they capture Antonio Banderas, I just call him Antonio Banderas. Shrek's like, what should we do with them? And Donkey's like, oh, let's give him the Bob Barker treatment. And I was like, what does that mean? And Bob Barker, apparently during Price is Right, he would always say at the end, spay and neuter your pets. At the end of every Price is Right. And of course, I didn't watch Price is Right as a kid, but like, but I was like it never even boomed. That reference always. So I love that movie. And there's like probably other references that you guys can remember. But those are my two. However, I do have a non-Shrek one.
Ooh.
It's from a lesser known animated movie called Planet 51 with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Where he's like an astronaut who goes to this alien planet, and the aliens capture him and take him to the science facility. And I just remember this one quote where they rescued the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson basically, and he's naked on the lab table, and they're like, "Come on, get out! We've rescued you." He's like, "Awesome, great!" And he gets up, and the alien looks at him, and he's like, "Why does he have an antenna at the front? Why does he have an antenna in his front?" Either that, or it's like, that's a weird place to put an antenna or something like that. And I never really got it as a kid, but the more I think about it, it's like, oh, why did they do that? Like, why? Like, for why? But I get.
Yeah, I feel
I
that
saw
about
Austin
Trolls.
Powers too young, and they made a mini-me joke about his third leg or whatever, or calling him the tripod or something crazy.
Donkey, you're watching the Giddy Gigmeisters podcast.
Unparental guidance. All right, we're going to move into unparental guidance, which is where
no parents. What do we do?
We're going to talk about movies that we saw at too early of an age, which Julia was leading us into.
Finish that thought then, because honestly, that's not the only thing. There was so much in those movies. I want to say it's specifically Austin Powers Goldmember, because they have like the spaceship in the sky that looks like a big penis, and maybe I'm mixing them all up. But then there's also the scene where he has the sheet and he's giving birth or whatever with Mini-Me. And like, there's like, with the silhouettes.
The tent scene.
I didn't see Harry Potter till later, but I definitely saw Austin Powers pretty young. And the Bimbettes at the beginning of the opening montage with their gun titties.
Yes. The scene
so
that I can't unsee is the tent scene. You know, when it looks like they're like having really weird sexual things happening.
Yes.
What in the world?
I think that's that silhouette scene I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so
crazy.
uncomfy.
But JCAT's completely lost on all this. So
definitely
maybe
not watching those.
All right, I have some that we probably might have seen at too early of an age, or at least I did. I saw a lot. What is it? Friday. I saw that way too early.
with Ice Cube and I don't know why I'm missing out his name, but I know you.
Mm-hmm. And then I saw those parody scary movies. Yes.
Of course you did. You did.
Way too early.
I think we're gonna have to rank ourselves and who got the most ruined from their unparental guidance. But before we can rank ourselves, we're gonna need JCAT to tell us what movie ruined them.
Yes. Okay, and after you go, I gotta close one out because I think that I might win. So go, JCAT.
All right. So I wouldn't really say it's a more explicit content. It's more so just let me just set this up. So I have a family member. I'm not gonna say who they are, but I love them dearly. But they messed me up at a very young age because I would always go and visit them in Illinois. And they love watching horror movies. Like horror movies on a Lifetime movie thriller is on. It's on TV. So I'm maybe like 6 or 7, and TV is constantly playing these movies on TV on loop on loop. And there was this movie, I think it was like The Descent or something, where like these women go into the cave and there's like these creatures that are hunting them. And I was like, no. like those I was like, nope, this is horrifying. I'm having nightmares. Immediately after that movie was several Stephen King short movies. So I just rapid fire. And then the same day I watched Jaws, and then Alien and Aliens. Those all came in succession. I love Alien and Aliens. I love those movies. Those movies are great.
Me too. I love them.
You were how old?
I was like 7 or 8. So terrified of these movies. But of course, I will stipulate that these were the TV versions, so the TV edits. But I was still like horrified because it just wasn't. It was. I love them, but they messed me up. I couldn't sleep. I was having issues. It was bad.
Little 7-year-old JCAT was like, "Hey yo!"
Indeed, I actually did legit say that. No, so yeah, I love those were the movies, but I have a greater appreciation for Alien and Aliens because I was just really confused. Like, what is this? I'm seeing people come out of I'm seeing things come out of other people.
Yeah.
What is this?
Okay, guys, can I close it out?
We gotta rank it. I think we gotta
Wait,
rank it.
no, I have one more.
Okay,
I have one more.
Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got.
Movie that I was way too young to be watching. I think I was around that 11, maybe 12. But it really scarred me for life was The Human Centipede.
Oh! Yeah, I saw. Oh, I'm with you on that one. I never told my parents when I watched it. It was so bad. I didn't want them to watch it and find out.
The confession here live on the podcast.
Julia, my mom put the movie on. Julia, my mom was watching this movie and I was there.
Okay, you were the most unparental, even though you had a parental.
She thought it was a Pixar movie. It's a family
movie. It's a family movie, guys. Come on.
I am so scarred to this day. I have had nightmares throughout my life because of this film. Like, I feel you on the nightmares from movies, JCAT. Like, it's awful. And it just lives rent-free in my head. And I hate it because I'm like, I want to forget that I ever saw.
I forgot it existed until you said it. Honestly, you brought it back into my peripheral, and I will not forgive you for that.
Sorry, I needed to bring it back for everyone.
Oh, I've never seen it, so I'm fine.
Don't watch it. Really, don't.
Also, just while we're on the topic of things you shouldn't have seen, we talked about internet stuff earlier, but the 2 Girls 1 Cup video that all your friends would always be like, did you see the video? And you're like, what video? And they ruin you. They absolutely ruin you. And you're a sick, twisted being until the day you die now. So, AYO, why'd you gotta do that?
Thank you very much. I am least ruined. I'm at the bottom. I'm fine with losing. All right, who's above me? Who's slightly above me?
I kind of feel like Cece seeing all the scary movies so early.
Fight it out.
I don't know. I think Human Centipede is the win for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll let you have it. Cece's up here. I'm middle. JCat's wholesome on bottom. Our very wholesome bottom.
We have
our very wholesome bottom. Julia, why do you keep saying these things? Get your mind out of the gutter.
The sad part is it's you guys that are in the gutter, and I just keep.
Why am I in the
getting
gutter?
him up, and we keep taking the home run.
Why am I in? All right, AYO is all I can say.
AYO.
Hello, I'm Cece, and you're about to hear some explicit content, so please be advised.
No, there was a game, but I did want us to give each other ratings based off of video games or TVs or movies. Like, for example, if you were like, oh, I would say Julia is rated teen, T for teen, with comic mischief and mild language as the content descriptions. I would say that. CC is, I would say you're 17 plus mature. That's a suggestion. Uh with suggestive content, sexual themes, and strong language.
I like the TV rating system, so I'm gonna put JCAT at TVPG for some suggestive dialogue, some sexual situations, and moderate violence.
Yeah, the moderate violence. I get
moderate violence. Meanwhile, Cece is getting mature audiences only.
You guys.
For explicit sexual activity and graphic violence. So, and probably some spoilers. Honestly, why not?
I love that.
Julia is going to be unrated for blood and gore, violence, language, nudity, and humor. You're not gonna be the nude one.
Okay, I'll be around it.
Yeah, you'll just be around it. Yeah.
I'm on par with nudity, but I am not nudity.
Yes. Okay, and then I'm
so
going
scared.
to I think that I'm just gonna give I think JCAT's PG-13 for gambling and substance use.
Please send funds to the podcast. We are trying to get JCAT help. Get JCAT clean. Thank you so much for everything.
I'm in the gutter. Can't save a gutter rat, man. I'm sorry.
Our wholesome bottom in the gutter.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
Well, with that, maybe we should move on into our famous last words.
My name's Cece, and you're listening to the Giddy Gigmeisters podcast.
My famous last words are a quote, actually. You can stamp out the source, but you cannot stop creative thoughts.
Oh.
And that was in response to one of the people. Her name is Tipper Gore. That was like her nickname was Tipper Gore. But she was one of the women who was leading the charge during the Satanic Panic and the Congress trying to get, censorship for music and stuff. And so in response, there was some songs and lyrics based off of her. And that was one of the quotes from the Ramones.
I want to hop on yours because I feel like they're in a similar vein. I was gonna originally say the internet is forever because things can just exist. So if like anything gets made or any content, it exists forever. But I'm gonna change mine to they're gonna learn somehow, because no matter what you try to block your kids from seeing, they gotta learn about the world. You can't private school them or homeschool them away from the world and getting to them. So they're gonna learn somehow. You may as well let them learn through the culture media that other kids are ingesting at the same time, so they can at least be not a weirdo. But they gotta learn somehow.
All right, mine is also a quote from Trolls World Tour.
You got this.
Okay. I think I have had a sarcasm once.
Ooh! Why is that even? Why? Why is it?
In the movie, they're like, she's like, is that sarcasm? And then one of the other characters pops in and he goes, I think I had a sarcasm once. It's so terrible.
I guess it pertains to our adult content warning.
That's why I picked it. It was so funny. Thank you.
I just don't know why that's words to live by, but it.
Hey, we never said the famous last words needed to be words to live by, okay? I like the outlandish ones too. We have the positive vibe ones, we have the good message ones, and then we have the off the wall with why.
Oh man. Well, thank you so much for listening to our episode. I think we should entitle this one AYO, honestly, adults only. But next time we will be coming back with our epic conclusion to the first season, our improv musical.
Very exciting,
So
very exciting stuff.
Please come check it out. We are so excited to close out our first season with something so silly, so magical, and we look forward to seeing you there.
That's been the podcast. Tune in next time to hear Julia say.
Yeah, and make sure to stay away from those naughty explicit labels now, kids. Stay away from Satan and the explicit labels, kiddos.
And
You
all
don't
the
want-
SpongeBob curse words.
That was
You
not
kiss-
a dolphin at all. That
Do
was
you-
not a dolphin.
Do you kiss your mother with those lips? You kiss your mother with those lips, how dare you?
Oh my gosh.
Thanks for listening to the Giddy Gigmeisters podcast.